The story you are about to see is true.
Just the facts, ma'am. Hey, it's Colonel Potter from MASH and Dan Aykroyd. Just the facts, ma'am. Let's go to La Jolla, outside of San Diego. That guy is 110% correctamundo. It is, in fact, New Orleans, Louisiana. Yeah, you right. Thank you, Mr. Drew Brees, for that intro. Corey Johnson back at you, taking you home in style. Your drive time afternoon talk radio program, which, by the way, simulcast on television right now. That means live on the radio. Oh, so fine. 93.9 FM. 93.9 FM. Also on New Orleans' own 107.9 FM. 107.9 FM. And, yeah, simulcast live on TV. That's what simulcast means. I'm being redundant. Simulcast live. Live on the radio, live on TV, all over Louisiana. We go till 6 p.m. on the radio, 2 big hours. We do 90 minutes of those 2 hours on television. Cox Channel 4. That's Your View, Louisiana. Anywhere Cox Television exists in Louisiana, we're there from 4 to 5:30. You subscribe to Cox Television? Cox Channel 4, Your View, Louisiana, 4 to 5:30 statewide. New Orleans, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, and beyond. Hey, you Charter Television subscribers, a.k.a. Spectrum. Spectrum Channel 333, 4 to 5:30 weekdays. 90 minutes of fun. Anywhere Spectrum or Charter communication exists in Louisiana, I'm there. 4 to 5:30. Yeah, you right. Live streaming CareTalks.com. Live streaming CareTalks.com. And we're on YouTube. Yeah, you right. We're on YouTube right now. You can watch the program live yesterday, last week, last month's show. Live on YouTube. Corey Johnson, Neutral Ground on YouTube. Our Humane May fundraiser going on all month long, trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana, and we need your help. Please donate right now. Don't wait till tomorrow or next week or next month. Donate right now. Go to humanela.org right now. humanela.org. Donate and donate generously. humanela.org. That's all month long, by the way. The entire month of May. Let's get it over with quickly, early. Donate right now, humanela.org. Hey, Mother's Day a week from this Sunday. Can you believe that? Mother's Day a week from this Sunday. You know what she wants, huh? A day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa. She wants to go to the Woodhouse Day Spa. That's what she wants, guys. Don't stress out. What am I going to get her? And then when you figure something out, your next question is she going to like it? What are you going to get her? A day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. Is she going to like it? She's going to love it. It's exactly what she wants. 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Perfect for Mother's Day, a week from Sunday. Get her what she wants, guys. Woodhouse Day Spa, Mid-City, New Orleans. Canal Street at Carrollton. They're in Metairie near North Kenner, Transcontinental at West Esplanade. 2 North Shore locations, Slidell, about a minute from I-10 in Gauze. And they're on the East Causeway approach, right off the causeway in Mandeville, directly across the street from the Mandeville City Hall. And don't forget, by the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge, there's a Woodhouse Day Spa near you. A week from this Sunday, Mother's Day. Don't blow it, guys. Woodhouse Day Spa solves the problem. Oh, you really want to take your game up to another level or two? at least another level or two. Why don't you check out Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street. Real diamonds, natural diamonds that appreciate in value, limited quantity, 1 billion years old. Don't get fooled. This is a Mother's Day gift for her. Don't get man-made, lab-created 3-week-old diamonds that only go down in value. The market getting flooded by Chinese-made, man-made diamonds. Get the real deal. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Guys, Mother's Day is a week from this Sunday. Get her diamonds from Ken Friend. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers on Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Jazz Fest weekend number 2 underway. What an absolutely gorgeous day. Locals Thursday, the least attended of the 7 days of Jazz Fest usually. But boy, you got Astral Project playing right now. They're as good as it gets. Santana ends the day at the Acura stage, I guess. So there's still a ridiculous amount of high quality music, food going on. Jazz Fest weekend number 2, Locals Thursday, $50. You can go right now. About 3 hours left in Jazz Fest Thursday. About 3 hours left. They'll go to about 7. Locals, $50 on Thursday. Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, right back to the 95 at the gate, 85 in advance. But $50 for locals. Locals Thursday since 11 a.m. 10 years ago, the tolls were removed from the Crescent City connection. 10 years ago today. 10 years ago today, the tolls removed from the Crescent City connection. Mike Teachworth's going to join us in about 15 minutes. Mike Teachworth, his friend and attorney, Pat Hand, along with then state rep, now state senator, Pat Connick, instrumental. They were the three, especially Mike Teachworth and Pat Hand, 10 years ago, getting the tolls removed from the Crescent City connection. It was amazing. It was live on this program. The news going down, literally someone calling me, Corey, I just went through the toll booth, literally on a 8 by 11, inch sheet of paper. Someone wrote, no tolls, drive through, no tolls. It was like happening as things were going on, like at 4:15, 4:20, 4:30, 10 years ago. Mike Teachworth from DeBest Bank will join us in a few minutes to discuss that. Tim Rice, his 44th Derby letter is out. You can go to innisfree.org. Kentucky Derby, the 149th Kentucky Derby, going off Saturday. Tim Rice, for the 44th year, like a third of the time that the Derby's been around, essentially, Tim Rice has been producing his Derby letter with pics and stories and anecdotes. A true horseman his entire life. Innisfree.org, INNIS free, FREE, innisfree.org. You can get that Derby letter, the 44th edition, absolutely free. Tim Rice is going to join us in a few minutes to discuss that. The Proud Boys, not so proud, 4, including leader Enrique Tarrio, guilty of seditious conspiracy. No, January 6th is never going away. It'll always be part of American history. It's like December 7th or 9/11. It's a locked-in date in history, in time, in America that will never be forgotten, that'll never go away. It's not going to get thought of less. It's not going to be ignored or overlooked. That's what was so funny about the video with Carlson Tucker and McCarthy releasing it to him and him showing little snippets and trying to steer the narrative a different way. It's like we all saw it, Democrat, Republican, conservative, liberal, independent, black, white, old, young, gay, straight. We all saw it. We saw it live on television, no editing. We saw what went down. Little bits of something here, little bits of something there, spinning it the way you want to. It's not going to change history, reality, what we all saw. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Incredibly gorgeous weather right now. Lebanon's Cafe is open. How about an early dinner? They go, by the way, till 9:30 tonight. Some of the finest Middle Eastern food in Metro New Orleans. Lebanon's Cafe on Carrollton at Jeanette, right by the streetcar barn, I should say. So good. The lamb chops with that veggie medley, and you still get 2 Middle Eastern sides, 20-something bucks. Best lamb chop deal anywhere. Lebanon's Cafe, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Did you know Rouse's sells only Angus beef? Angus beef's natural marbling means more succulence and flavor. Whether you choose Rouse's USDA Prime, Choice, or Select, it'll be only Angus beef when you get it at Rouse's. Tastes like home.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
5 generations, family-owned and operated. Leidenheimer French bread.
River Cities Total Maintenance keeps you cool, New Orleans. NOLAAC.com is your cool spot.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
Young's Dry Cleaning has free pickup and delivery. That's right. Young's Dry Cleaning has absolutely free pickup and delivery. Home or office, East Bank or West Bank. Call Young's at 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes are magazine, as unique as you.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamarck team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamarck Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville. Yeah, you right. Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you on a Thursday afternoon. Locals Thursday at the Jazz and Heritage Festival. Mother's Day. Can you believe that is a week from Sunday? Our Humane May fundraiser going on all month long. Please donate. Save animals. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org is where you can donate. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Saturday, the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby. For 44 of those 149 years, about a third of the time, Tim Rice has been producing his Derby letter. And we've been having Tim on the program pretty much annually for the last few decades talking about it. Buddy Delaberto used to get Tim on all the time talking about the horses. He's got books about horses. He's been a lover of horses and animals his entire life, and the LSU Fighting Tigers too. Tim Rice joins us on the program again. How are you, Tim?
Doing great, Corey. Good to hear from you.
Always a pleasure to hear from you. Innisfree.org, INNISFREE, Innisfree.org. That's your website, and that's where folks can get the Derby letter, right?
Right. No charge.
Yep. 44 years, Tim. Can you believe it?
Yeah, it kind of is beginning. I'm beginning to notice it. When I wrote my letter this year, that I was recalling in the letter some of the previous successes. Not naturally, you want to dwell on the successes, not the failures, of which I've had plenty of those as well. And it's amazing how races that are 20 and 30 and 40 years in my past, I can almost visualize them being run right now. It's amazing stuff when you really love something.
Yep.
As much as I love this.
Yep, and passionate about it. Yeah, and that you can recall all that, especially like you said, after all these races, year in, year out, decade in, decade out. Tim, you do it a little different. It's not just some little anecdote about this year's race exclusively, and you're not picking like the favorite and walking out the door. You kind of make it fun for the horse enthusiast and for someone that wants to maybe win a little money too. Like you're not throwing out the obvious selections. You're throwing out the creative ones.
Well, the one constant in our picks is we never pick the favorite, and we try to go up the scale odds wise to where if we are right, you get a pretty nice payoff. You know, it's not just the joy of cashing any ticket. We're kind of going for the kill, if you want to put it that way.
Yep. Yeah, you've got like long shots, super long shots, insane long shots, even.
And also we always take a stab at exactas and trifectas to really enhance the return when you do get it right.
Now, and I want to talk about that part of the Derby letter, but also stories, anecdotes, life experiences. It's a lot more than just picking some horses, right?
Right. Well, it's the letter is essentially two parts. There's every year I find to try to retell an historic moment in horse racing, and profile the characters that made up that history. And then after composing all of that, then I write an analysis of the current year's race. And it's just going back to your previous comment about remembering past derbies. I just learned a few days ago, I hadn't even noticed it, that this is the 50th anniversary of Secretariat's
Wow.
Triple Crown.
Wasn't even thinking about that.
50 years ago.
and there's only been a handful of those since then.
Right. There was, let's see, there was
Seattle Slew. Yep.
Affirmed, and then you had Justify a couple of years ago. Actually 4 years ago to be exact. So it's been,
and then before Secretariat, it was like 25 years. You have to go back to like the late 40s in Citation, right?
Citation 1948.
So we're talking like maybe a half dozen Triple Crown winners in the last 70, 80 years. I mean, this is like perfect game in baseball type of thing. A lot harder than maybe people think.
Yep, that's right. It's very true.
Wow.
And I think it's going to be harder and harder to have another one. It's just such a grueling accomplishment, because you have 2 weeks between the Derby and the Preakness, and then 3 weeks between the Preakness and the Belmont.
Yep.
And horses of this quality, under normal circumstances, usually pace their races 4 to 6 weeks apart. So to put 3 races in a 5-week span like that is not anything that any trainer would really like to do.
Yeah, it's Mike Tyson fighting for the title every 3 weeks. It's
right.
Everything really needs to line up right. The significance that we put on these races, the horse doesn't know. He's obviously trained and geared towards that, but it's just another race for that horse of many.
Right. Exactly.
You know, a bigger crowd, maybe more attention being placed on it. He ate better or something, but no, everything has to line up right. Tim Rice is with us. Innisfree.org, INNIS free.org. You can get his Derby letter, the 44th year of the Derby letter. 1979, like the Jimmy Carter administration was your first?
My first letter was the Derby of 1980. It was the year after Spectacular Bid. Spectacular Bid won the Derby and the Preakness and got beaten at Belmont in 79. And then it was the 1980 Derby was our first letter.
All these picks and selections and long shots and trifectas and all the different gimmicks you throw out there. It was really for the horse racing aficionado, maybe the gambling aficionado. Now all of this is sort of mainstream today. How has the proliferation of gambling, affected the Derby letter, affected your approach to the Derby letter? You're kind of a trendsetter, decades ahead of the curve.
Well, when I first started writing this, the only way that you could legally place a bet on the Derby was at Churchill Downs. You physically had to be there or know someone that was going to be there and get them to make the bet for you. Then in the 70s in the 80s,
yep,
you had this development called simulcasting, where they would show out-of-town races at racetracks around the country. So you could go to the fairgrounds and bet on Churchill Downs, Belmont, Santa Anita, tracks all around the country. And when that happened, you had an explosion in the amount of money bet on horse racing legally in the country, because there's always been a big bookmaking, illegal bookmaking enterprise going on. But the simulcasting really gave it a real boost. Then with the internet developing, it became legal to make bets at remote tracks on your computer. And it wasn't legal everywhere right away, but it became legal everywhere. And then you had the legalization of sports betting, which just gives another item on the menu. And now all of these, people like Caesars and DraftKings, those kind of people with the online sports betting thing, they all have companion horse books as well. So you can bet horse racing now. You can bet it all around the world. You look at these websites; they've got Japan, Australia, all the European countries. Anywhere they're running and taking bets, you can pretty much bet on those races all around the world.
Almost 24 hours a day, practically.
Well, literally 24 hours a day. You can. You really can.
Hey, Tim, we got about 30 seconds. Can you give us a few selections?
Well, my principal pick is a horse from Japan that, and no Japanese horse, very few have even run in the Derby, and none have ever won. And this horse he's number 17. He's very difficult to pronounce. It's two words. First word is Derma, D-E-R-M-A. Second word is Sotogake, S-O-T-O-G-A-K-E. And this is the first time he's running in the United States. He just won a huge race in the UAE Derby, and that's in the Middle East. And I think he's probably going to be 12-1 would be my guess when they go in the gate. And I think he's got a real good chance of winning it. And it's not impossible that he could take the lead right from the beginning, but he doesn't have to.
Derma Sotogake, number 17.
Right. Yep. And Sotogake, by the way, is a sumo wrestling move.
Nice. Yeah, the names of horses are fantastic. Any other selections, Tim?
Well, I also like a horse that races the fairgrounds this winter called Two Phils. That's the number 2, followed by the name Phils, and both of his owners are named Phil, which is how he got his name. And he was second in one of the Louisiana Derby preps and third in the other one, and then went up and won a big race up in the Midwest right about, I guess it was 4 or 5 weeks ago at Turfway Park. And he really looked impressive to me in that. So I'm going to definitely include him in the exactas as well.
These horses and a lot more information, innisfree.org, right?
Yep. We break it all down in there. It's pretty easy reading because we give you like a very brief paragraph on every horse that's in the race. And then we make some betting suggestions and suggest a few long shots to throw in there as well.
Innisfree.org. Tim Rice, his 44th Derby letter is out just in time for Saturday's action. Tim, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Great to talk to you, Corey.
Innisfree.org. Go check it out. Corey Johnson with you. For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
At Home Paint and Decorating, our paints are in it for the long haul. In fact, our top bench of more exterior paints come with a lifetime warranty. Not 25 years, not 50 years, we mean forever. You heard right. At Helm Paint, our top exterior paints have a lifetime warranty against chipping, peeling, and flaking. They also are mildew resistant. Imagine painting your home one time and being done with it. Visit any one of our locations today and make that once-in-a-lifetime purchase. Paint that has a lifetime warranty. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
In New Orleans, we don't eat to live. We live to eat.
More is better.
Scott Craig of Katie's.
That is our slogan. More is better at Katie's. It means more of everything. Not just more food, more smiles, more friendship, more love, more. When you do something, you have to do it right. It's all about more, and it's all more of the good things.
Get more at Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City.
The politicians were right, and we've all been suffering ever since. You remember 10 years ago, taking the tolls off the Crescent City connection, the bridge would go into disrepair, the lights would go out. Essentially, the bridge was just going to fall in the Mississippi River, and it has happened. Wow. Can you believe 10 years ago, the tolls were removed from the Crescent City connection? There's not too many folks in Metro New Orleans. I mean, a lot of folks can be like me and go, man, I helped, I contributed, I've always been a giver to the community, that type of stuff. Hard for folks to literally point to something that they are pretty much almost fully responsible for. And Mike Teachworth and his friend and his attorney, Pat Hand, and then State Rep Pat Connick, now a state senator. This trio, especially Teachworth and Hand, were instrumental in getting the toll removed off the Crescent City connection just because it had been there long enough. It kept getting renewed. It was all false promises and BS from politicians. And the brunt of that expenditure coming from Gretna residents. And Mike Teachworth said, enough's enough. And he talked the talk that a lot of us do, but then he actually walked the walk and won and got the Crescent City connection tolls removed because of his effort. Mike Teachworth joins us on the program again. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great, Corey. How are you?
Doing well, man. Hard to believe. A decade ago, you accomplished the impossible. You went up against the Louisiana, New Orleans political machine, and you kicked its butt.
Well, it wasn't just me, Corey. It was, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, and a ton of other people did a whole lot of work. And I'm humbled by your comments, but it was a group effort. But yeah, it's hard to believe it's a decade, Corey. It was a long battle and a long fight, and I'm looking back on it, a decade later, very thankful and appreciative that we came out victorious.
I remember having you on the show and Pat Hand and Pat Connick over weeks, over months leading up to it all, and then literally I'm just doing my show, and a guy calls in and says, Corey, I just drove through the toll plaza. There's a 8 by 11 inch piece of paper, handwritten note saying no toll, drive through. Happened 4:20 in the afternoon, where they just all of a sudden stopped taking tolls, and they've never taken one since. It's crazy.
I remember that. I remember being on your show, Corey. That was a great day for us. It was we rejoiced, and Corey, I want to thank you. You truly said it like it was. Out of all of the people in media, I think you really kind of captured it, and you honestly stated, what was going on, and you called a spade a spade. So we appreciate your effort in it, Corey. You really did help us.
This was a lot of steps, Mike. Take us through it. How did it all start?
Well, it originally started, I was going through the toll booth one day, and I just started to wonder, why are we paying these tolls? Didn't really ever find out the answer. I reached out to Pat Connick, his answer was, what are you going to do about it? And I ended up starting a website and an activist group. People just kept coming. Then we made signs, and more people kept coming. And we went out and spoke at almost every neighborhood group on the West Bank and some on the East Bank, and really just tried to spread the word and really let people know we thought the tolls were unfair. And there were 7 other bridges in Louisiana that didn't have a toll on them, and yet the tolls had been on the Crescent City Connection for 20 years. The bridge had been paid for. It was just a whole lot of things. But, I think there's no stopping an idea, whose time has come. And I think that's what happened here.
But it was a vote of the people, and the vote was to keep the tolls. And then you guys went to court and got a second election. Tell us about it.
Well, the original election, was in November of 2012, and it was 308 votes cast, and we lost by 16, and we called for a recount, and then they found 16 more against us. And then, after the recount failed, we started hearing from people who had went to vote at their regular precinct, and they weren't able to vote on the tolls. And we thought that was funny. And when we investigated it, we found out that there were a lot more people who wanted to vote against the tolls that hadn't been allowed to vote. And so that's when Attorney Patrick Hand took over and filed we wanted a new election and filed the case and basically won the case for us. And that gave us the new election. And the second time around, Corey, we were a lot more organized in terms of, what we were doing and how we were campaigning. But we were just a bunch of citizens. We weren't professional politicians, but we all rallied together, and we had the new election, and we crushed it the second time. So we defeated the tolls forever.
And what happened in the second election? Wasn't it like it was still postponed for a court ruling on that as well?
Well, the first election was in November. The court case was on March 5th, where we got the new election awarded. And then the second election was exactly 10 years ago today, May the 4th be with you. So I'm actually here with Patrick Hand right now, and some of the guys. We're getting ready to go over to Gattuso's, where we held our election night party, and we're going to reminisce and have a few people around. So you're welcome to join us and anybody else.
What time does the fun start at Gattuso's over there on the West Bank?
It starts at 5, and it'll probably be till. We'll see how long we can go. But, this is it's a good thing to celebrate, Corey. It's 10 years, away from it happening. But, and that, again, that's still hard to believe, but we're glad we were able to prevail, and we're very fortunate.
They're starting things at Gattuso's on the West Bank, UEP Long, right? That's UEP Long, about 3 blocks off the West Bank Expressway on the right.
That's right. 5th and UEP Long.
Yep, there you go. Gattuso's on the West Bank, 5 o'clock, celebrating a decade of no tolls on the West Bank. You live in Gretna. You were paying the toll. Very happy that it doesn't exist. Very happy that what is it, about $250 million?
It was $22 million a year times 10 years, so it's probably almost
plus what they were stealing.
Right. Plus, it's probably about $250 million, Corey. We estimate.
Yep. So the kind of the first mover, the number one guy that helped make it happen. You can go thank him, shake his hand. Mike Teachworth is at Gattuso's on UEP Long on the West Bank in Gretna. Pat Hand is friend and attorney. Hopefully Pat Connick will make it as well. Now,
they're all going to be there. Pat Hand standing right next to me. He wants to tell you hello real quick, Corey.
Yeah, perfect.
Hey, Corey, how are you?
How you doing?
For being a champion for this very worthy cause, obviously. It's, like you said, it's 10 years, $250 million or thereabout. It's pretty crazy to think about. The first tax ever overturned in this state by a vote of the people. It's something special, something to be proud of. And it was, like Mike said, it was a large group of people that got together and did it. Several of those people are in this room with us right now having a pre-Gattuso's cocktail. We're going to have some fun tonight. But it was a great thing. And you helped us tremendously. So thank you.
No, it was a special event. It is something you should be proud of. It's rare. As I mentioned to Mike, Pat, it's you went up against the monster, New Orleans, Louisiana politics. There were very few politicians like Pat Connick that were, for getting rid of the tolls. Most politicians, Gretna's mayor, New Orleans mayor, senators, congressmen, very hard to find anyone that wanted to remove those tolls. You literally went up against the monster and had to take it to court even. It's crazy as it gets.
Well, I was told when they came to us with the case, several people said, you're going to make a lot of people angry with this lawsuit. And we knew exactly who we needed to sue. We knew we had to name the governor. We had to name the Secretary of State. We were going to anger some pretty powerful people. But, when it's the right thing to do, it's the right thing to do. And you put your head down, you work, and you get it done. We weren't deterred by that fact that we were going to be pissing off a lot of people. So,
yep. There's not too many examples of this, Pat, this kind of success with, kind of from the civic-minded side of things.
To my knowledge, it's the first time it's ever happened in this state. And I've looked and I haven't found another example.
Yep.
And again, it's the work of a lot of people. A lot of people came together and got this done. So, we're grateful to everybody.
Who would you throw out on that list besides yourself, Mike Teachworth, Pat Connick?
Stephen Leonard, Shannon Achman, B.J. Haggerty, Wade Perrin, John Roberts, Bobby Gatewood, Kyla Deal, my father, my brother, Tim Hand, Billy Bravender, my cousins, all the Schmidts, John Young, Billy Nungesser, Senator John Kennedy. All these people came out and helped us. Philip Trupiano was an employee of the Jefferson Parish Registrar of Voters Offices, he was our star witness, without whom we would have never won the court case. He, against all odds, against immense pressure, he had to put ballots in his trunk of his car because he thought they were going to get stolen by his superiors.
Wow.
He showed up in court in Baton Rouge with the ballots in his trunk. He came forward and testified against immense pressure. There's a lot of people. I'm probably leaving people out.
You're probably leaving some out, but that's all right. You rattled off a bunch. Gattuso's on the West Bank. You guys are cranking it up in a few minutes. Pat Hand, a pleasure. Tell Mike Teachworth the same, and hopefully I'll see you guys later this evening.
Corey, thank you so much.
Thank you, Corey.
Thank you, guys. 10 years, no toll on the Crescent City connection. Yeah, you're right. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future. At the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com. Dave Miette Insurance Agency. Auto, home, flood, business. 504-556-0809. Dave Miette, INSagency.com.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
At Helm Paint, we go the extra mile with free delivery anywhere in the metro area. In the middle of a job and short on paint? Call us and we'll come to you.
Short on time? Call in your order and pick it up in the drive-thru at our Earhart Boulevard location.
Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore. Let us steer you in the right direction.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit Latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Ladies and gentlemen, in this Lamarck Automotive Complex is something called Quick Lane. Tires, wheel alignments, struts, servicing your transmission. We're doing all makes and models. It doesn't have been purchased from us. It's for you. It handles your lifestyle with your budget in mind. And we want to get you in and out as quick as possible. Quick Lane, you got to come see it. You're going to love the experience right there at Williams Boulevard in Kenner.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
For over 120 years, New Orleans' very own Leidenheimer French bread.
The official afternoon talk show of the city of New Orleans. It's Corey Johnson on the neutral ground.
You can say anything you please about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy.
Down, Blue Boy. Good buddy. That is so true. You can say anything you want to say about me, but don't say anything bad about Blue Boy. Right on the money. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Hey, speaking of Blue Boy, our Humane May fundraiser cranked up about 3-4 days ago. The entire month of May, we're trying to raise $10,000 for the Humane Society of Louisiana. Let's get this done quickly. Let's get it done early in the month. Please go online right now and donate. $10, $20, $50. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org. Yeah, our fundraiser going on all month long, trying to raise $10,000 for cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, horses, goats, animals that are being abused, animals that are being treated inhumanely. HumaneLA.org. Go to the website right now and donate. HumaneLA.org. He's been running the Humane Society of Louisiana for about 35 years. 24/7, 365, always available. Jeff Dorson joins us. What up, Jeff?
Hey, Corey. Thanks for that nice intro. Thanks for Humane May. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate your listeners, because every year we almost always hit 10, and that's a big deal for us. We're still a modest grassroots group, big heart, but we really could use everybody's donations. So you're right, 5, 10, 15, 20, we can stretch it out.
Yep, no doubt about it. HumaneLA.org. That's the website, HumaneLA.org. If you go to their Facebook page, Humane Society of Louisiana on Facebook, they do a great job of updating the photos, the stories behind the photos. If you go to that Facebook page, Humane Society of Louisiana, you'll go to the website and donate. I promise you will. HumaneLA.org. What's the latest and greatest going on in your world, Jeff? Some real disappointment with the state, our elected officials, this big budget surplus, lots of promises, lots of hope, and then they kind of just take you out at the kneecaps.
Yeah, I don't know what to say yet, Corey. What you're referring to is we did meet several times with top officials, top chief of staff for the governor. We made our argument very clear that our sheltering infrastructure is eroding, is depleted. There's not enough shelters. There's not enough support, not enough services. And here they are sitting on $500 million or whatever. So they were gracious at first, and now I don't know who's to blame, honestly, but there's some pushback. Some lawmakers say we want to put it aside for other things, or rainy day fund, or pay down the debt. I'm not clear. So I'm not going to point any fingers, but I am clearly disappointed that what we were promised may not be delivered, and it's a real heartache because the situation is in a crisis. Absolutely horrific. Up north, there's hardly any services or low-cost spay-neuter clinics, so everybody's letting their animals breed. A lady called us on fixed income. Her 3 dogs just gave birth. She now has 15 puppies she can't feed.
Wow.
So she's going to go to Walmart and give them away. So that's our state. And, as hard as we can, we even can't keep up. And we're trying everything we can think of to manage this, but it's unmanageable without more state support.
The sad part is you come up with this plan, couple of $1 million, 20 different shelters or areas of the state, about $100,000 into each area, really solidify the state. Then that $2 million goes to 3, and you're really excited. Then an entirely new idea comes into play. Let's use space at prisons and have the inmates, gives them something to do, treats them, humane behavior, good for the animals, good for the prison. Everyone wins, space to do it. All of a sudden, 10 times the allotment, maybe $20-30 million because of this $1.5 billion, $1.5 billion state surplus. So it goes from 2 million to 3 to 20 or 30, and then all of it gone, right?
Well, that's where we are. There seems to be a block, and I can't identify what's happening. And I'm asking the chief of staff to please fill us in. Why? How is this not happening? Everybody else is getting their piece of the pie, and again, we're left out. And it's heartbreaking because people aren't being served, these calls aren't being answered, and animals are suffering. What else can we do? Who's not listening? Who doesn't want that when there's so much money? And guess whose money is it? It's yours and ours.
Yep. No, and it's about the state acting properly, acting humanely, not being the laughing stock, not being backwards ass, but being on top of this issue. Just don't have to be like it's 2030 or 2040, but let's be in 2023 and not 1973 with this. No, it's a shame. It really is, Jeff. What you have is probably $3 billion in projects, and they have to trim that by half. And your 20-30 million, and the prison idea is getting, cut, thrown by the wayside. Hey, in the meantime, folks can donate at humanela.org, right?
They sure can. We're also having our inaugural dog walk, and you're going to be our celebrity marshal, and that's Sunday, May 22nd. Do I have that right? I do, and that's LaSalle Park, 10 a.m. to noon. We will start promoting that in the next 24 hours. Go to our website, go to our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We'll be putting the link up so you can register. $15 a person, 10 per dog. Whatever heartache we have during the session, we'll put it aside and just keep marching forward. That's all we can do.
Yep. Uh-oh. You hear what Blue is saying?
Time to go.
He's saying Corey's not the MC. Totally is. Yeah. Hey, Jeff, always a pleasure, brother.
You're the best. Thank you for our time together.
HumaneLA.org. Donate right now. HumaneLA.org.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 5 p.m. Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NOLAAC.com, your cool spot. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh la Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
The French bread of the city of New Orleans. Good to the last crumb. Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
Hi, everyone. It's Tommy Wrong for AsbestosMoneyGrab.com. This is not, I repeat, not for folks with real asbestos problems. But if you're like me and were maybe taking a shop class in high school where you maybe breathed in some brake dust and you know for certain you're fine, but you're the type of person that takes advantage of these types of situations, get tested, lawyer up, and steal some money like me. Go to I'm not really hurt at all, but like exploiting the system for free cash.com.
The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center. It's open now. We fix cars and trucks. We do all makes and models. And it doesn't have to be a Ford or a Lincoln. It could be whatever you're driving. 32,000 square feet under roof. Now open at 3101 Williams Boulevard. It's all about you, the customer, getting the most for your dollar. I would say the most perfect collision center anywhere. The Lamarck Automotive Collision Center, 3101 Williams Boulevard. Go check it out.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
From the owners of Katie's in Mid-City and Bienvenue in Harahan, an old school deli with over a dozen specialty sandwiches. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Interlocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Interlocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Interlocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
WKRP. That's W crap.
The air in Cincinnati, WKRP.
I'm Johnny Fever. Stick around. We're spinning all your favorite hits. Venus Flytrap. Up next. It's WKRP, and this is Cincinnati. Or is it Cincinnati? Number 9. This is New Orleans, not Cincinnati. Thank you for the clarification, Mr. Drew Brees, who was joining us live. That was live, by the way, not recorded. Live from La Jolla, his multi-million-dollar compound right outside of San Diego. All right, it wasn't live. It was recorded. It's years old, but what the hell? Breeze probably somewhere in or around La Jolla, huh? Or another multi-million-dollar home that he owns. I'm in the Lowe's the other day, and Drew Brees is over the loudspeaker. Hey, it's Drew Brees, your Lowe's representative. Those screws you're looking for, they're on aisle 7, down low. Wow. Drew Brees is everywhere. And you know he's collecting a big paycheck being everywhere. He's not missing a beat monetarily. 25, 35 million a year playing NFL football at the quarterback spot. He's earning that and more, owning businesses, endorsing products, nonstop for number 9. 5 o'clock power hour coming your way right now on a Thursday afternoon. Yeah, you're right. Locals Thursday. The Jazz and Heritage Festival 2023, weekend number 2, day 4 of 7 underway. Got tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, a lot more of Jazz Fest. Barely past the halfway mark of Jazz Fest 2023. And the big weekend number 2 has already started. They cranked it up at 11 this morning. Some great acts on Locals Thursday, too, where the ticket price for Locals is $50. Not the $95 at the gate every other day or $85 in advance. $50 for Locals. Astral Project playing at the Jazz Tent. Santana playing right now as we speak. Locals Thursday, and what a gorgeous day. And because it is the least attended of the 7 days of Jazz Fest, a lot more elbow room, easy to get around. The lines for food aren't nearly as long as Friday, Saturday, Sunday lines. Same thing for drinks, booze, the whole 9 yards. I don't know the numbers, but on a Friday, and especially Saturday, Sunday, you can get upwards of 60, 70, 80,000 folks at Jazz Fest. On Locals Thursday, it might be 30 or 40,000 folks, like half the crowd. Half the crowd. Just so much easier to park, so much easier to get around, and they don't go any less of what they're doing. All the stages, all the food, all the music, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., nothing changes except the price, about half the price. And what a weekend, what a local Thursday weather-wise, huh? Hoping we have a good weather weekend. Some rain in the forecast tomorrow and Saturday. Hopefully, the meteorologist, it's not perfect. Hopefully they get it wrong. I should say they're not perfect. And hopefully they get it wrong and we get some, 3 really nice days, no rain. If it does have to rain, how about 1 a.m. to 4 in the morning type of rain? Jazz Fest weekend number 2 underway. Locals Thursday going on right now. About 2 more hours left to go at Jazz Fest. Still time for you to beeline out there, get dinner out there, enjoy some musical acts. And with the ticket on Locals Thursday being $50, maybe you'll go this late in the day. Hey, at Gattusa's on the West Bank on Huey Long, they just opened up the doors, celebrating a decade, 10 years since the Crescent City Connections tolls were removed. What a bunch of political nonsense that was. If the Louisiana hack politicians had their way, there'd still be a toll on the Crescent City Connection. A decade of no tolls, we're talking about $220, $230, $240 million, nearly $250 million in citizens' money saved, not going into the toll booth. Now, I'll never forget, literally live on my show, I get a caller while this is all going down a decade ago today. Hey, Corey, I just drove through the toll booth. They've got a 8 by 11.5-inch sheet of paper taped to the window saying, no toll, drive through. And there's never, ever been a toll since. Pretty amazing. All the politicians, Mayor of Gretna, Mayor of New Orleans, Jefferson Parish President, senators, congressmen. It was hard to find politicians that were for the toll going away. It was easy to find politicians that wanted to see the toll renewed because that was $20, $25 million a year that they got to spend on BS projects. Who was the Gretna president? Ronnie Harris. Two things I remember about Ronnie Harris. One, going into China Blossom, a restaurant that I used to promote, Audrey Fong, and her walking in one night to get dinner and her shaking her head and smiling at me and laughing. I'm like, what? And she goes, boy, you made Ronnie Harris mad. I'm like, Ronnie Harris, what, the Gretna president or mayor? She's like, yep. He came in here the other day and said, why do you let Corey Johnson promote your business? And I replied to him, because he brings in business. People hear him and they believe him and they come in and try out China Blossom. And Ronnie Harris was just ripping me, saying I'm terrible and it's only going to hurt the business and shouldn't promote it. And so we're just laughing about that. And she, of course, did not pull the advertising. We kept rolling with that. So I remember that about Ronnie Harris. I also remember getting Ronnie Harris on my program 10 years ago in a month. Ronnie, are you for or against these tolls being renewed? I want them renewed. So you want your Gretna residents that you represent continuing to pay on the toll? Yes. Ronnie, are you running for president again or mayor, whatever you were again? Yes. I mean, I haven't decided yet, but I think I'm going to run. You don't need to run, I told him. I said, there's no way you can win. If you're for the tolls being renewed that clearly do not need to be renewed, then you're not going to win. I was like, why do they need to be renewed so bad? He mentioned like $150,000 in grass cutting that the city of Gretna received, $150,000 that they used to cut grass. The neutral grounds won't be cut. All this nonsense. I'm like, you got to make up for it somewhere else, Ronnie. $150,000, 20-something million in annual revenue created by those tolls, and you're worried about $150,000. I was like, I don't mean to be a jerk, but you're not going to win re-election again. Anyway, so that's what I remember about Ronnie Harris. Him telling Audrey at China Blossom she should not be advertising with me. And him coming on my show and me telling him you're not going to win re-election. And by the way, him not running for re-election. Because no, he was on the very wrong side of that. Mitch Landrieu. The bridge will go into disrepair. The lights will go out. All this gloom and doom. That was a huge win a decade ago. They're celebrating at Gattusa's on UEP Long Avenue right now. Mike Teachworth, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, a bunch of others. Who knows? Lieutenant Governor Billy Nungesser might show up. A decade ago today, the tolls on the Crescent City connection removed. 10 years now to the day, no tolls on the Crescent City connection, saving mostly Gretna residents, but Metro New Orleans residents primarily, over $20 million a year, about almost $250 million over the last decade. Amazing. You know, it's amazing. Your before and after Jazz Fest headquarters, Katie's in Mid-City. Before Jazz Fest, after Jazz Fest, Katie's in Mid-City. As a matter of fact, why aren't you at Katie's in Mid-City right now winding down your day? Before Jazz Fest, after Jazz Fest, as New Orleans as it gets, Katie's in Mid-City. Hey, you Lakeview residents, don't forget about Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in the old Charlie's Deli location. Harrison Avenue in between Canal Boulevard and West End, Francesca Deli and Pizzeria in Lakeview. And yeah, Katie's in Mid-City, your pregame and postgame Jazz Fest headquarters. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. 5 o'clock power hour continues.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
For over 20 years, serving healthy, fresh, authentic Middle Eastern cuisine, Lebanon's Cafe. In the Carrollton section of Uptown on the streetcar line, Wednesday through Monday, 11 a.m. to 9:30. Lebanon's Cafe.
The Woodhouse Day Spa, with 5 area locations, New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and now Mandeville. A day of relaxation is just moments away at the Woodhouse Day Spa. WoodhouseSpas.com.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Since 1896, a true taste of New Orleans. Leidenheimer French bread.
For us, it's really relationships. And if you care about the relationship, you're going to do the right thing for the customer all the time. When we're in design process of a custom-made piece, I have a test that says, if I wouldn't give this to my wife, I think we should pass and start over. If it's not perfect, it's going back to the shop. We're going to start all the way over. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
When USA Today ranked the 10 best must-visit New Orleans restaurants for travelers, Mid-City's own Katie's made the list. USA Today says Scott Craig is chef-owner at Katie's, a much-loved Creole Italian eatery that draws armies of regulars for lunch, brunch, and dinner. A neighborhood spot where locals congregate and New Orleans-style hospitality rules. Indeed it does. Katie's in Mid-City.
Rouse's Market is hiring. With 65 stores, full or part-time employment, and flexible scheduling, Rouse's has a job for you, or maybe even a career. Apply at any Rouse's store or online at rouses.com.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NolaAC.com, your cool spot.
Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets has daily lunch specials Monday through Friday, and their entire lunch menu is available too. Open 11 a.m. through 2:30 p.m. For the finest in Sicilian and Italian cuisine, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Young's Dry Cleaning, with 2 walk-up locations with personal service. Young's on Claiborne and Young's on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview. Young's Dry Cleaning. Call 288-8381 or online at youngsdrycleaning.com. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
1970 was an exciting time in New Orleans. The first Jazz Fest was held, the city hosted its first Super Bowl, and the first Helm Paint location opened on Earhart Boulevard. While the floppy disks, mood rings, and pet rocks may have come and gone since the 70s, Helm Paint has grown to become your premier source for quality Benjamin Moore products, competitive pricing, and personal service. Please visit one of our locations today and we'll meet our competitors' prices on any identical product. Helm Paint and Benjamin Moore, let us steer you in the right direction.
Helm Paint and Supply.
Yeah, you right, Crescent City and beyond. Corey Johnson back at you. Our Humane May fundraiser going on the entire month of May. Please go to humanela.org and donate generously. Do it right now. humanela.org. humanela.org. It's for cats and dogs, kittens and puppies, horses, goats, animals that are abused, emaciated, not being treated humanely. We're stepping up and bridging the gap, filling that hole. You can help. Your money will be well spent, and you're going to save cats and dogs. It's a no-brainer. Donate $10, $20, $50, $100. HumaneLA.org. Please do it, and please do it right now. HumaneLA.org. Hey, Mother's Day, a week from this Sunday, guys. I got 2 suggestions for you. I know you're stressing out. What am I going to get her? Is she going to like it? 2 suggestions. A day of relaxation from one of the 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. 5 area Woodhouse Day Spa locations. Mid-City, New Orleans. Metairie near North Kenner. 2 North Shore locations. Slidell and Mandeville. And also the Baton Rouge location by the Mall of Louisiana. Guys, she wants this. It's Mother's Day. Get her what she wants. A day of relaxation at the city's premier day spa, the Woodhouse Day Spa. That's a no-brainer. Problem solved. Want to take it up a level? How about real diamonds, diamond stud earrings, diamond tennis bracelet, diamond necklace? Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Only real natural diamonds, 1 billion years old. Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Not man-made, lab-created 3-week-old diamonds. Not diamonds that are depreciating in value, unlimited quantity. Limited quantity, appreciating in value. That's Friend and Company Fine Jewelers, Maple Street, in between Broadway and Carrollton. Hey, guys, Mother's Day, 1 week from this Sunday. A week from this Sunday, Mother's Day. Don't try to avoid it. Don't blow it. And don't stress out. What am I going to get her? Is she going to like it? You get her a day of relaxation from the Woodhouse. You get her real high-quality diamonds from Friend and Company Fine Jewelers. Grand Slam home run. She's going to love it. Mother's Day, a week from this Sunday. Take care of her. The mother of your kids. Come on. No-brainer. Jazz Fest weekend number 2 underway. Locals Thursday, cranked up at 11 a.m. They'll go till 7 tonight. $50 a ticket for locals instead of the $95 at the gate, $85 if you get them in advance. Jazz Fest weekend number 2 has begun. They'll crank it up tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 to 7, plus all the nighttime concerts. John Baptiste popped into the Maple Leaf the other night. Sort of, last minute type of thing. Sort of a 24, 48 hour, 72 hour type of gimmick. Yeah, that John Baptiste. Maple Leaf on Oak Street, that little dive bar, that little dive music club. No, they have nighttime concerts. They crank up at 10, midnight, 2 in the morning, especially over the weekend. And that's about as New Orleans as it gets. That Maple Leaf, Oak Street area right there. That's my favorite music club. You got Frenchie's Gallery a couple of doors down. You got Giacomo's, kind of that funky, eclectic New Orleans eatery with Jack at the controls. That's sort of like the Bermuda Triangle, the Oak Street Triangle. You could get lost in there and never be seen again between the Maple Leaf Music Club, Frenchie's Art Gallery, and Giacomo's Restaurant. Anyway, Jazz Fest weekend number 2 underway. Just the vibe in New Orleans, French Quarter, downtown, Warehouse District, Marigny, Bywater, French Quarter, obviously. It's just out of control. The pulse is, it's real. And hotels and music clubs and restaurants and bars are slammed. The service industry making, months of money in, that 10-day, 2-weekend Jazz Fest weekend. No, it's humongous. I think Mardi Gras is, north of $500 million. Super Bowl and Jazz Fest, north of $350 million, $400 million plus economic impact. Gigantic. Mardi Gras in its own category, north of $500 million. Super Bowl and Jazz Fest weekend, over $350 million in economic impact. We need it. It's the lifeblood of the city. This right now, Jazz Fest weekend number 2. After last weekend, the weekend before that, Zurich Classic, the weekend before that, French Quarter Festival. Coming up, you got Bayou Boogaloo, you got Greek Fest, a bunch of other things. Essence over the 4th of July. Just, what's that? 8 weeks away, we'll be in Essence, be in the heat and heart of the summer. Speaking of the heat, the Proud Boys, not so proud. 4, including leader Enrique Tarrio, guilty of seditious conspiracy, going to jail. Now, I remember when this went down and was so shocked. And then I remember one thing, I was like, the only positive of this, the only silver lining of these idiots in this insurrection, shooting video of themselves and posting it on social media. And so many idiots, not only shooting video of themselves, but people in the background, shooting video in general. So many folks caught in the act on video, clearly recognizable. I said then, and it's true. I was like, hundreds and hundreds will be arrested and prosecuted and will go to jail, and deservedly so. It was absolutely insane. And righteous, real Americans, they don't care about the political party affiliation or who they were backing or who they weren't. They just know an insurrection when they see it, and they're not for it. It's no different from Portland or Seattle, where folks are protesting and they decide to throw rocks at police or light public or private property on fire, destroy it, vandalize it, because their point is so important. Well, that's not how America and free speech and the First Amendment works. It's precious. I'd love to do my show right now from I-10. Corey Johnson's blocking a lane on the interstate. Traffic for miles. I'd get arrested. I'd make the news. All the local news stations would have the story, the newspaper. It would be tremendous for my show. Lots of recognition. It's against the law, and it's abusing, this microphone, this camera. There's a responsibility involved. No, I'd love to do that, but my message doesn't circumvent or overrule, isn't bigger than the First Amendment. And it doesn't matter if it's an insurrection at the Capitol or folks burning public or private property, protesting in cities. It's wrong and it's against the law. Political party is irrelevant. You hardcore leftists, loony left, that looks at the protests in Minneapolis or Portland or Seattle where millions of dollars in public and private property was vandalized, some of it destroyed, and think the message was so strong you can't see the crime there? I got news for you. All the other liberals and Democrats and, of course, independents and conservatives, they see the crime there clearly. And if it were hyper right-wingers doing the same thing, you'd be freaking out about it. And the same thing applies to you folks that are trying to justify or downplay January 6th. If it were black liberals doing it, you'd call it an insurrection. Hey, TV audience, mañana. Radio audience, you folks checking us out via live streaming, CareTalks.com, or maybe on YouTube. We seamlessly continue until 6 p.m. Yeah, Proud Boys, not so proud. Hey, Latrim, the global manufacturing giant, is hiring. Latrim is hiring. Go to their website, latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim's hiring. East Bankers, West Bankers, they got you covered at their Elmwood facility. You North Shore folks, they're hiring at their I-12 facility. A culture of innovation, and they're looking for you. It's not a job, it is a career. Latrim.com. Latrim spelled L-A-I-T-R-A-M. Latrim.com. If you missed the 4 o'clock hour, you missed a lot. Kentucky Derby, the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby, is Saturday. Tim Rice from the North Shore. Innisfree.org is the website. Innisfree.org. He just produced his 44th Derby letter. 44th year, the Derby letter. And it's a lot more than picks and selections, and it is that. And he never picks the favorite, always going with like a long shot, a pseudo long shot, so it's worth your while for you gamblers. And then always stories and anecdotes, a lifetime experience around horses and animals. Tim Rice's Derby letter is out. If you love horse racing, you love the Kentucky Derby, this is for you. Check out, and it's free, his 44th Derby letter. Innisfree.org is the website. INNISFREE, Innisfree.org. Check out Tim Rice's 44th edition of his Derby letter. He's been doing it since 1980. Unbelievable. Tim Rice joined us in the 4 o'clock hour. Mike Teachworth joined us too. I would say Mike Teachworth, probably the first mover. Pat Hand, his friend and attorney, right there with him. Pat Connick, now a state senator, then a Louisiana House rep. This three-headed monster, Teachworth and the two Pats, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, they basically got the Crescent City tolls removed. It was a decade ago today, 10 years ago today, the Crescent City connection tolls were removed, never to rear their ugly head again. A decade later, almost $250 million in savings, mostly to Gretna citizens. Gattuso's over on the West Bank on UEP Long, they're celebrating right now. Mike Teachworth is there, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, other leaders, other civic-minded folks that were instrumental in getting the Crescent City tolls removed. They're at Gattuso's celebrating a decade of no tolls, 10 years. Gattuso's on the Best Bank on UEP Long Boulevard, UEP Long Avenue. Right down the street from the Tauntaun. I like that Vietnamese joint. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Yeah, Jeff Dorson joined us too, like he usually does. We always toss him a bone every Thursday for a few minutes. Jeff's with the Humane Society of Louisiana. On May, we throw him a big bone. Our Humane May fundraiser going on. Trying to raise $10,000. 100% of the proceeds go to the Humane Society of Louisiana. You do it all with them. I'm just the messenger. It's just my idea, my show, radio, TV, YouTube, Humane May fundraiser. But you go to their website, humanela.org. 100% of the money goes to the cats and dogs, kittens and puppies. humanela.org. Every year, your donation helps save animals, literally. Animals treated more humanely, treated right. It's an embarrassment in Louisiana. We're kind of a joke nationwide. Jeff Dorson trying to make animal abuse in Louisiana less of a joke. Humane Society of Louisiana on Facebook. You go check out what they do on Facebook. You'll donate. humanela.org. One year we raised over 10 grand. Jeff bought 400 carriers and the money to fuel the plane, pay for the plane. 400 dogs and puppies put in the carriers, put on the plane, and flown to cities with no-kill shelters. So those 400 animals' lives were saved. Those dogs were sent to cities with no-kill shelters, and they were adopted out, all 400. So that 10,000 plus bucks we raised that year saved 400 dogs. 400 dogs. HumaneLA.org. HumaneLA.org is the website. Is the phone ringing? How's this thing lighting up? How is this light on my desk with this phone line connection lighting up? It's crazy. It's insane. Anyway, Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. I'm looking down at that, Jason. I'm like, what the hell? I haven't seen that thing light up in decades. I forgot this old light even existed right there. Yeah, humanela.org is the website. Please go to it right now and donate. Corey Johnson with you on a gorgeous Thursday afternoon. Jazz Fest, weekend number 2, Locals Thursday going on till 7 p.m. Mother's Day a week from this Sunday. 10 years ago today, the tolls removed from the Crescent City connection. Wow, pretty unbelievable. Hey, if you're on the Causeway Bridge, why don't you fire in a to-go order at Trey Yen? Mom, dad, the kids, everybody's fired up when you walk in the door at home with a big to-go order from Trey Yen. Better yet, how about some fine dining at Trey Yen? Right at the foot of the causeway, you North Shore folks in Mandeville. That means 25 minutes from Lakeside Shopping Center, you South Shore folks. Some of the best Chinese food in America. Chinese cuisine. Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Rouse's, New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's has the only full-service grocery stores both in the French Quarter on Royal Street and in the CBD on Baronne in the old Sewell Cadillac building. The Rouse's on the river, Tchoupitoulas at Napoleon, is in a century-old warehouse. And uptown on Ferret at the corner of Valence is Rouse's all-new boutique store. With 7 locations in Orleans Parish, Rouse's is New Orleans grocery store. Rouse's Markets. Taste like home. Fausto's Italian Bistro on Veterans Boulevard, where the brothers Fausto and Roland are serving some of the city's finest Sicilian and Italian cuisine. From New Orleans' first family of Sicilian and Italian cooking, Fausto's Italian Bistro on Vets.
Why wear the same old glasses that everyone else is wearing? Stand out from the crowd. Come to Art and Eyes. Art and Eyes is not your typical eyeglasses store. It's one of the finest eyewear shops in the country, right here in New Orleans, with precision-engineered prescription lenses and gorgeous high-quality frames from the heart of Europe, Japan, and the United States. Our products are thoughtfully curated, and our staff are here to help you find exactly the right frames. Art and Eyes, a magazine as unique as you.
River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot. River City's total maintenance keeps you cool. NoAC.com, your cool spot.
If you love Katie's Restaurant in Mid-City, you're going to love Bienvenue in Harahan. The same folks bringing a little of that New Orleans flavor to Hickory Avenue. If you love Katie's, come to Bienvenue on Hickory Avenue in Harahan.
When a young man comes in and they walk into our store and you can see they're a little intimidated. Last week, I saw the young man. I said, "Hey, what can I do to give you a hand?" He said, "Well, I'm here for an engagement ring, but I don't think I'm in the right place." So I got him to my desk, and within an hour, he had purchased an engagement ring, had spent $1,000, and he was treated like he spent a lot more, and I'm sure we have a customer for life. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
For Leidenheimer Baking Company, producing the perfect French bread is more than a vocation. It's a sacred mission. And for 5 generations, they've used the same time-honored process, baking their signature loaf with its crisp crust and delicate center, unique and still good to the last crumb. From the finest French Quarter restaurants to your local po' boy shop, for over 125 years, New Orleans' own Leidenheimer.
Which Metro New Orleans area restaurant made CNN's Top 50 in America and ThrillList.com's Top 25 and has served presidents at the White House for over 40 years? Trey Yen in Mandeville.
Greater New Orleans, a destination for learning. With 13 colleges and universities and a booming job market, Greater New Orleans is the ultimate destination for your higher education. Your path to the future begins in Greater New Orleans. Find out more at studynola.com.
It's time to relax. The Woodhouse Day Spa, Metro New Orleans' premier day spa experience, now with 5 area locations. For a day of relaxation or maybe just a quick 1-hour getaway, the Metro area's premier day spa experience is at the Woodhouse Day Spa. And now 5 area locations: New Orleans, Metairie, Slidell, Baton Rouge, and our newest location in Mandeville. The Woodhouse Day Spa, woodhousespas.com.
Hey guys, it's Frank Smith from LasVegasGambling.com with your weekend 5-star lock of the week. Take the Lakers and the points over the Clippers. Sell the house, sell the boat, sell your children. Send grandma away and take the money. Put everything you've got on this 5-star selection. It's the Lakers over the Clippers, and we've also got a fantastic 5-star parlay as well. Call us now, 888-555-7777. It's Frank Smith, a.k.a. The Hammer, from LasVegasGambling.com. Do it now.
I always go with Frank the Hammer Smith with my gambling selections. You should too. I'm taking the Clippers over the Lakers, even though they're not playing. Frank the Hammer Smith is incredible. I play this little radio game sometimes. I'm in the business. I used to go on the old Rush Limbaugh station. And I wasn't a fan of Rush Limbaugh, but I'd put it on the station. I might remember about it once a quarter, once every 6 months. How quickly will he say Obama? Sometimes I'd hit the button and it'd be Obama right out of his mouth. At the worst, about 90 seconds. There's a local black AM station in town, and I'll play kind of the game opposite ideology. How quickly till they say something like Whitey's the devil, or the Jew did this, or even, anti-women type stuff. And, it usually takes a minute or two. It's pretty funny sometimes immediately. It's just funny how you can kind of, I don't know, it's the predictability of it, I guess, that, the black local AM is very liberal and extreme. Rush Limbaugh was very wacky right wing. Anyway, it's just comical how you can kind of tune in and it's very predictable about what's going down. Now, a talk station here in New Orleans, they used to have a lot of local advertisers. Now they don't really have a lot of local advertisers, more of a national emphasis. They're owned by a national company. And I'll hit the button on that station. No, I don't want to get into it, but I find the talk show hosts kind of weak, uninformed, not entertaining. I'm not learning anything, so I don't really listen that much. But I'll just hit the button and I'll be like, if it's a commercial break, how quickly is it going to be? an extreme injury attorney, one of the aggressive ones, like, don't accept a check till you check with me. I got so-and-so money. It's a lot of injury attorney advertising on this station and a lot of gambling. Like every local talk show host on that station has a contract with a gambling outfit if they gamble or not, promoting gambling and go online and get free bets and free wagers and all this stuff. But it's just comical. Like every single break, there's an injury attorney or two. There's a gambling website or two or three. Every single break. It's comical. No, and that's a lot of their money. I don't want to call it ill will. It's a different era. I mean, we're in 2023, not 1973. So like, promoting cigarettes or alcoholic beverages and I know all that's illegal on billboard or television, radio advertising, but just this sort of, they used to call it sin tax on cigarettes or beer or alcohol. Like, I don't think it's sinful stuff or unsavory. It just, I don't know. It's less than the cleanest, pristine stuff, kind of alcohol, tobacco, gambling, injury attorneys. I mean, there's one guy, a local talk show, it's just about asbestos. I worked in the shop class in high school or college and was around brake dust, and I'm getting checked for asbestos. It's like even the show hosts, the non-attorneys that are paid by the attorneys, that are working for the attorneys, they will push that narrative that, hey, you should sue somebody. You should get some money, some free money that you don't deserve. Just sue. It's kind of a problem. Everybody I talk to says Morris Bart is a great guy, a nice guy. I believe it. I mean, just look at him. He's happy-go-lucky. Doesn't seem like he's a jerk. His nickname's Buddy. Buddy Bart, what a great guy. I don't think Buddy Bart is a jerk or is just some, just total clown. But I do think he takes advantage of the system. A lot of these attorneys that advertise that they're not attorneys. They don't go to court. They don't go to trial. They're insurance company facilitators. You hire them to deal with the insurance company, and essentially, at least for the smart client, they've got it. I'm getting 10 grand for my insurance company. I hire the attorney, even paying him a third or 40% of my claim. I'll do better than the 10 grand. I'll make more with the attorney than doing it by myself. No, when I look at like a Morris Bart, I'm like, man, a few bucks out of my pocket, your pocket, everyone's pocket goes to Morris Bart because many of the lawsuits are erroneous, in my opinion. And Morris Bart, I think, has an attitude like a lot of these attorneys do. One, hey, if I don't take it, the work, someone else will. And two, who am I to not believe my client that tells me they're hurt? I've got a catch in my neck and my back stiff and I feel a little dizzy. I mean, I can't help it that the doctor doesn't see anything. Those things stick and people get paid for that stuff. And I just think the egregious amount of advertising in the state. I mean, look at some billboards. You'll have a double billboard, like a billboard company with two billboards right next to each other. Both of them are lawyers. Both of them are competing lawyers. If you owned a restaurant or a car dealership or any business and you were buying a billboard, wouldn't you go, hey, guys, I'm buying a billboard and you're putting my billboard next to another billboard that is my competitor? Corey's Italian Restaurant, you got Freddie's Italian Restaurant on the same pole right next to my billboard, I'd be kind of ticked off. But they have so many lawyers advertising, buying so many boards that the billboard companies can't help but put competing lawyers on the same pole, essentially on the same billboard, when it's two billboards on one pole, stacked right on top of each other. One will be Dudley DeBosier, right underneath Morris Bart, Just how it is. There are that many attorneys advertising. And the big players like Dudley DeBosier, Morris Bart, it's dozens and dozens, maybe north of 100 billboards. And then you get the lesser guys that might have a dozen or so billboards. And you have the lesser guys that might have 1 or 2 or 3 billboards. And you have the even lesser guy that might have a billboard. But it's lots of attorneys advertising. And boy, gaming, gambling, sports betting, it is just taken off like a rocket ship. No, and I'll tune in a station where I'll play my little game and just tune them in every now and then just to see if they're in a break. And if they are, how quickly will a gambling or gaming or sports betting or injury attorney commercial, how long will it be until one of those is played? Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. You getting home from work? Your AC's not working right? Making a funny noise? Not cooling like it was yesterday, last week, last season? Or worse, not working at all? Don't stress out. River City's Total Maintenance is there. They'll get your AC working this afternoon, tonight. They're honest, incapable of screwing you around. They're air conditioning experts. They'll diagnose it right away. And they'll come right away. They'll come immediately and get your AC working. Find River City's Total Maintenance at NOLAAC.com. NOLAAC.com. Every day we broadcast live from the Buddy Diliberto River City's Total Maintenance Studios. Every weekday, Corey Johnson with you. Yeah, I love Fair and Honest Lucas and the boys at River City's Total Maintenance. NOLAAC.com. My AC guys for about 15 going on 20 years. NOLAAC.com. Humane May fundraiser going on right now. Go to our website, humanela.org. Please donate right now. humanela.org. Jazz Fest weekend number 2 began earlier today, about 11 a.m. Still time to head out to Jazz. It's a little late now. $50 though. Locals Thursday. They'll go till 7 tonight. Then they'll crank it up tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7. Weekend number 2, Jazz Fest 2023 underway. 10 years ago today, a decade ago today, the tolls on the Crescent City connection were removed. 10 years later, a decade later, about $230+ million saved. Citizens not having to pay to cross the Mississippi River. A decade ago today, tolls were removed from the Crescent City connection. Corey Johnson with you. Hey, how about dinner at Fausto's right now? Outdoor dining. The weather like this? Outdoor dining at Fausto's. White tablecloth. Outdoor dining at Fausto's. Dine inside, air-conditioned, climate-controlled dining room, or sit at the bar and check out NBA playoff action if you'd like. Some of the city's best Sicilian and Italian. Tonight for dinner, Fausto's Italian Bistro.
Ford F-150, #1 seller in America. What about in the USA? Let's see, what about in the world? Who sells more trucks than Ford? Nobody. It's because the Lamar team is the real team. All that makes it happen is one goal. Everybody having a great experience at Lamar Ford. We became #1 for a reason, because we're good. And we need to prove it every day, every deal, all the time.
Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's what I said. Ooh, Leidenheimer, that's French for bread. Leidenheimer.
Served in New Orleans' finest restaurants, Leidenheimer French bread. The Port of New Orleans is the gateway to global commerce, the economic engine that moves Louisiana and our country forward. For more than 125 years, Port Nola has continued to deliver the goods we use each and every day, by river, rail, and by road. No matter what, it all happens right here, delivering Louisiana's future at the Port of New Orleans, your working river. Learn more about your Port of New Orleans. Visit portnola.com.
Francesca Deli and Pizzeria has over 15 specialty sandwiches, a big 10-ounce burger, and some of the best pizza in New Orleans. Francesca Deli and Pizzeria on Harrison Avenue in Lakeview between Canal Boulevard and West End.
Hey y'all, it's Junket Cantrell, Mayor, City of New Orleans. We've decided to hold a contest where you can decide where I go next on my taxpayer finance vacation. I was thinking about Acapulco, but that's in the Western Hemisphere, and we can do a lot better than that. Think Europe, Asia, maybe even the Middle East. You know, if it's safe. You don't want old Junket Cantrell getting hurt. It's all about my vacation, having fun, and spending the city's money on my entertainment. I'll be flying first class, of course, and I'll be bringing some administrative flunkies with me. It should only cost the city around $30,000, maybe $40,000. Help me pick my next city finance vacation. Go online, Cantrell Junket at cityofno.gov. and have a feast day.
Hi, this is Joey Helm. My dad, Bunky Helm, had a vision of a locally family-owned store serving the residential and commercial paint needs of New Orleans. I think Dad would be proud of today's Helm Paint and Decorating, and here's why. We have the best technical staff in the business, providing the best color matching service in Southeast Louisiana. Perfect matching for any color and any brand. And we'll save your colors so you don't have to save those old cans. Helm Paint offers free 2-hour delivery. Our in-store decorators will assist you on deciding what color and type of paint to best showcase your home. But most importantly, as your local independent Benjamin Moore dealer, our products provide the greatest value in the paint industry. Superior coverage, and Benjamin Moore paint simply covers better and lasts longer. New Orleans is a city of vibrant color, and no one else provides the paints of New Orleans like Helm Paint and Decorating. Visit any of our 6 locations or online at helmpaint.com.
Helm Paint, let us do you right. Helm Paint and Supply.
For game-changing innovation, look to the Latrim family of companies located in Harahan. Intralocks, a Latrim company, changed the game when they invented modular plastic conveyor belts over 40 years ago. These belts and innovative Intralocks technology are transforming movement in manufacturing facilities around the world. Intralocks is a dynamic global company now hiring in production, warehousing, shipping, and more. If you want to be part of our successful team, visit latrim.com. That's LAITRAM.com.
Being a part of people's lives, from an engagement ring to a wedding band. Before you know it, the wedding day is here, and groom and bride are exchanging gifts on that day. And not too long after that, there's baby gifts to have. And I just enjoy being part of other people's family, saying, Mr. Friend did my engagement ring, and he did my mom and dad's engagement ring. My name is Ken Friend of Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business.
Outdoor dining, Middle Eastern cuisine, under the oak trees, Lebanon's Cafe, some of the city's finest lamb chops and shish kebab, Carrollton at Jeanette by the streetcar barn, Lebanon's Cafe. The sounds of Jazz Fest 2023. It's that time of year. Hey, it's also crawfish season. Get your crawfish live by the sack at your neighborhood Rouse's Markets. Get your crawfish hot from the pot, ready to eat at your neighborhood Rouse's Market. You like boiling crawfish yourself? Live by the sack at your neighborhood Rouse's Market. How about just eating crawfish? Rouse's has their guys boiling crawfish all day long. That's all they do. Boil crawfish, boil crawfish, boil crawfish, boil crawfish all day long. Hot from the pot, ready to eat crawfish right now at your neighborhood Rouse's. Or get them live by the sack, bring them home, bring them to work, bring them wherever, and boil them yourself. It's crawfish season. Rouse's has you covered. Rouse's Markets for crawfish. Corey Johnson with you on a Thursday afternoon. Gattusa's on the West Bank is the place you might want to consider going tonight on Huey Long, you best bankers. They're celebrating Mike Teachworth, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, and others, celebrating a decade. 10 years of no tolls on the Crescent City connection. Almost $250 million saved. Mostly Gretna residents, too, paying that toll every day. No, congratulations, guys. They're celebrating at Gattusa's on Huey Long in Gretna right now. Mike Teachworth, Pat Hand, Pat Connick, and others. 10 years ago today, a decade ago today, getting those tolls removed from the Crescent City connection. What's that, Blue Boy? Fantasy Friday edition of the program tomorrow. Blue Boy's right. Have a great evening. See you at 4 o'clock mañana.
You're on the neutral ground with Corey Johnson on TV on Cox Channel 4 and Spectrum Channel 333. Also on YouTube, on radio at NOLA Talk 93.9 FM, WSLA New Orleans.
Hi, it's Ken Friend from Friend & Company Fine Jewelers. You've got a friend in the jewelry business. Come see us over on Maple Street in Uptown.
Friend & Company Fine Jewelers, Breitling time, 6 p.m.